Yeah, Leia, I just wondering if we could get some fish on the Barbie tonight.
Wow.
Fish on the Barbie?
Harrison is Australian now.
Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all-Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome to Rebel Watch. I'm Ez. This is my co-pilot, Chewbacca.
That's Harrison Ford, everybody. On the mic? How long do you think you can do that?
I wasn't that great. I've just been listening to the audiobook nonstop, and so I'm trying to get my Harrison Ford, down.
Give him a really good impression. Leia. You were talking to Leia there for a second.
Hey, Leia, you think we could, I don't even know what it sounds like. The guy that does the audiobook for this is like, he sounds like somebody from Family Guy,
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they all do to me. Yeah. You sound a little bit like a Harrison Ford Jim Gaffigan combo.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, I got an idea. With a little bit of Harrison.
Yeah. I don't know. Fly casual. Fly casual. I don't know. Hey, we just got a message from Juan Cholo.
What's up, Juan?
Wow, seriously, just literally happened right here on the phone. So we just update you guys when things happen live. So welcome to Rebel Watch. How's it going, Mike? How you been, buddy?
Feeling pretty good after Harrison stopped by.
Yeah, I am too. I'm glad that he's back.
He's back
because he's actually dead, but he's back.
R.I.P.
He's back. Pour one out.
Han Solo, pour a milkshake out for him.
Oh, can we talk about that? If we seem a little off today, which I think we do every time that we're talking.
a little slow, as
we had
a Hot Pocket.
What did you have to start?
Not a Hot Pocket. It's disgraceful. I don't even know if I want to admit it on the podcast, but I had the old 2 for $6 from the BK.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed. I've been eating a lot better lately, and then, it's just like podcasting is like a cheat day.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah.
Give me everything in the galaxy. Literally almost everything.
And we podcast all the time, so it's cheat days happen often around here. But and then Mike had that, and I said, I'm feeling kind of hungry myself.
Yeah.
Let's go over and get a little crave case over at White Castle. I mean, some cheese curds to wash it down,
and a milkshake.
Oh
from Steak and Shake.
Gosh,
man!
So it's sitting heavy. But
we should put this in slow mo right now. You could do a great Harrison Ford.
Yeah, if you just talk real slow. I almost got like Sean Connery in there too. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Oh, that's so good.
It's terrible. I wish I could do better accents, but
that's okay. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut when you did that interpretation there, and I'm going to show an actual Harrison Ford clip and see how comparable they really are.
Not even close.
I think they're going to be really close. It's going to be interesting.
Okay, so we're in a Council of Elders. Yep. One of my favorite times. Thank you, Logray, for providing this.
For everything he does.
For this council. And this is basically our show updates, personal updates, funny stories, whatever, maybe. A couple old Ewoks getting together and talking around the fire.
No big deal.
No big deal. A real big one, though, we'd like to bring up, and I'll just get this out of the way real quick here. We have, tell them about the Barnes & Noble show that we have coming up. It's basically confirmed.
It's confirmed, and we do have some updates, and that, wow.
Can you even see us over top of this now?
I think if we keep it there the whole time, you're definitely out of the shot. We have some updates for the show. That sweet piece of merch right there is going to be one of our raffle prizes for one lucky winner of a deluxe turntable set, Star Wars themed. Pretty sick.
It's like a $70 to $80 value, something like that, I think. So,
I mean, I'd take it. I actually personally almost just snatched it from you and kept it and said, I think someone broke in and stole it.
Right, yeah. So this is cool. This is going to be a fun little thing to raffle off, but that is coming up on, what did we say? May
12th. Got to get that date right, as I'm afraid you're telling people.
I'll be there.
I'm afraid, A, you're not going to show up. B, you're telling people a different day. I'm really concerned about that.
That's my fault.
But we have other updates with that, Ez. I mean, we have some significant backing now, right?
Yeah, actually, everything that we're going to do is going to be, all the money that we raise is going to go to children's. We haven't really picked a specific there's like the Children's Foundation, like a nationwide Children's Foundation, and you can kind of pick do you want that to go to cancer research? Do you want it to go to the Ronald McDonald House? There's a lot of different things you could choose. We may just send it all right now to just the overall foundation. But yeah, we're waiting on just like a final approval letter, but verbally confirmed over the phone. So we're good to go. We're really excited about that, actually. So
absolutely,
we want to do give back to our community a little bit, and I'll be sharing my story there about my children's experience, and we'll talk about what the money's going to and all that good stuff. So there'll be trivia, some live podcasting. Gosh, what else are we going to do there? We're going to have the raffles, some giveaways.
Absolutely.
Just some fun stuff. And it's only for a couple hours. So, but the voucher code, will last for an entire week. So
absolutely, the
whole weekend physically in the store, and then for 7 days online.
And if you have Barnes & Noble, items that you're looking to buy, why not use the voucher code that we'll shoot out? And a little portion of that purchase can go to our donation.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Exactly. So if you guys, and also we'll send out. We have a GoFundMe page too. If you're just like, I don't really want to buy anything, and you want to contribute to our GoFundMe campaign, we'll do that as well. And we've talked to Children's about how to funnel all of that very transparently over to them. So just to be very transparent about that, because that money is not hitting our accounts. Disney wouldn't allow it.
Ooh.
It was sort of a,
there was a conflict there.
Yeah, we had
for sure.
We're going to have to renegotiate with Disney. But anyways,
I actually think Kathleen Kenny delivered that turntable to you.
She did.
That's what happened.
She was a surprise guest.
Yeah, me and Mark just thought we'd drop by and offer a donation.
Could you imagine if Mark Ham would have walked in and said,
that would be sick? I'd be like,
listen to the podcast. I heard you guys are having a live show.
Yeah.
Like,
can I have a mic? We're like, actually, we're all out of mics right now, but why don't you take mine? I'll leave.
Would we ever say no? We would.
No.
Yeah, like we would sit him down, and that'd be epic. Okay, other updates though. We are going to continue with our Legends reading, but that may be closer to when Solo comes out. So if you're following along in the book club, we're in Fatal Alliance. And Tom just hit us up the other day and said, "Hey, when are we doing that next one?" And,
nobody responded. Sorry,
no one responded. So because we're kind of busy getting all the stuff for Barnes & Noble set up and things, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So
we've been deep in some reading too.
We have. Today, one of our big topics is going to be The Last Shot. So we will talk about that later on in the show.
Absolutely.
Anything else, my friend? Council of Editors.
I think that about does it, Ez.
Okay.
I feel like we're about to get into some sweaty Solo discussion.
We are, actually. So let's move into the HoloNet. And by the way, I love these fancy transitions. If you watch the YouTube channel, Mike has done some pretty fancy stuff here with our transitions. So thank you.
Work in progress, my friend.
So in the HoloNet, we got a couple things we wanted to talk about. Just the new TV spots. We watched like a rundown of all of the TV spots for the Solo trailer.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? I mean, what new little juicy bits are you seeing?
I think in the most recent one we saw Corellia for the first time. Wasn't too sure what that planet really looked like. Maybe you've read some descriptions and some Legends material, but now we're actually going to get to see it.
Right. Yes.
Looks pretty industrial, pretty grungy, man. And that's kind of what I picture Han Solo as, just his roots.
Yeah, kind of a mining, colony and things. So, definitely. It looked good. There were some just different shots. Like you could tell, like the scenes that they had taken, they had, you got an extra second or two of a scene or what have you. You got Lando and Han introducing themselves, saying their full names, to us. So that was that was cool. That was neat. Trying to think of other things that came out in that. What's his name that's going to direct the TV show? His character had a line, actually.
Jon Favreau?
Yeah.
Wait, he's a character in this?
Yeah.
Did I miss this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull up the character's name. I can't remember his name, but we'll have to pull that up.
Interesting.
We'll find it in a second. But
yeah.
Wow.
Jon Favreau. I didn't know he was making an appearance in this movie, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I got some in my eye.
Man, that's okay. We can edit this out.
No, we never do that.
A quick
This is just crying. It's been so
emotional.
It's been such an emotional time here on this podcast
I think
that
that's
I just
the Crave case actually just finding its way out. It's got a release.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. No, but yeah, he has a character, and we'll have to pull that up in a second.
Interesting.
Here.
Did not know that.
Yeah, we'll get
learning something new.
Another interesting thing in the HoloNet today, we saw this on Star Wars News Net. Those gosh dang beautiful Star Wars fans posting all that juicy goodness on their awesome website that we were so jealous of.
That's right.
But anywho,
they're getting the people worked up.
They're getting them worked up because there's a character on the, I guess, one of the call sheets, or I don't know if it was casting. It was a casting. Yeah. They have a character who they're looking for, and her name is Mara.
At least her code name.
No, my friend. I mean, it just said.
That's taking it a step further.
It just said Mara. All right, so I don't know.
A 40 to 50-year-old woman. They said that they're casting for.
Right.
Which, if you ask me, where does that put?
I think Luke was dating a younger woman, and that's her.
Could. I mean, was he not? About
he
50
is.
Something?
He's 50 something.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe she's been. So the speculation is what?
The speculation. Well, first of all, from their reporting and we'll just give you what they said real quick, which is basically that they went back to The Force Awakens and they said, okay, Rey's character was originally listed as Kira.
Yeah.
And I got news for everyone who read that article. I think that actually was what they were going to go with, though, originally, was Kira.
That was the original script that had her as Kira, yeah.
I think so. So maybe that was just still they left the code name in or something. I'm not sure. But they changed later on. So I think they were intending to go with Kira for a while.
Well,
but I'm just saying. So that's why when I see this piece about Mara, I'm like, okay, either they're going to rename Luke's wife, or they're going to just call her Mara Jade, like she ought to be called.
Be sick. So they've got some sweaties worked up, thinking that she's actually going to make an appearance. Likelihood, probably not.
Yeah.
But let's say let's say they were going to bring her in.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How do they fit her into a story episode 9?
There's
not a couple, I think. I mean, if Mara Jade isn't, Luke Skywalker's wife, or maybe he is, what has to happen?
Well, I'll tell you. It all goes back to a video that we've done, a podcast we've done here on this channel called What Happened on Jakku.
Wow. Sounds like we're getting into ponderings of Kenobi.
We'll get there. So how would they do it? Well, because that is kind of... we
are now pondering about it. We weren't before, but we are now.
Let's table it, and then we'll come back to it. Because I will tell you, we will ponder more on this because I know exactly how they're going to bring her into the fold here. Okay? Whew. I know many ways in which we could do it.
That's right.
But anyways, and you have a good point. Would they bring her in as Luke's wife, or would they just bring her in as a Legends character? And not really tell us she's Luke's wife at first or something. I don't know, and maybe she's just Rey's mother.
That would be sick.
Maybe she's Rey's mother.
That would be sick. Conceived by the Force.
Yeah.
That would be really sick.
That'd be crazy. Okay. So I had pulled up here, and I've lost it now, but the new character images that were released for Solo.
That's right.
They basically did like a little poster for each of them, and that's where you saw the Jon Favreau's character.
Is he voicing a character?
Yeah, voicing a character.
Okay, so he's the animated one that's in there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. Thought it was a... It reminds me of... there's some... I know his name is out there. When the New Republic is being destroyed by Starkiller Base, he reminds me of one of the guys that's on one of the planets that's getting blown up. Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
He's got the beard blowing.
Yes.
He looks like that guy, I think.
Oh, you're talking about that was
in Force Awakens.
I thought that was a Bothan.
Are we sure?
Well, I'm not sure.
Deep and sweaty.
Yeah, that is deep and sweaty. I was also thinking. Here, I'll pull up the character so you can take a look at it.
Yeah, that information is out there. I know that.
Let's see. Here
that guy.
There you go. So he does have kind of like a... Really? I don't remember the character you're talking about.
I'm going to have to pull it up. This guy obviously looks a little more wizened than the fellow here from Solo. Is his name Kid?
Rid, I think.
Rid. I can't read. That's small.
There you go.
Rid.
Or nice. Rio. Sorry.
Rio. Yeah.
Wow, we can't get anything right today. Okay, that's pretty cool though. I mean, so
I don't know what to make of him. He's got a few arms though.
He does,
right? He's got like 4 arms.
Yep,
that's wicked.
So if anybody knows more about that character, leave us a comment.
We could read the descriptions, but We've been reading a lot lately.
That's just too much.
There's a lot.
That's too much.
It's too much reading.
No, but they've got posters here for L3, for Dryden. They've got everybody: Val, Beckett, Chewbacca. Let's see, Lando, Kira, and Han.
Ugh.
Or Han.
So,
yeah, that's kind of neat. They actually are really, really cool, and they've got sort of the Millennium Falcon cockpit window behind them. So
did anything ever come of them hijacking the themes of that other fellow's artwork?
What I didn't hear about that.
Directly stole some of the promo posters for the movie directly from some artist.
Did they really?
And from another country, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that he was getting ready to sue them. I think. I don't know whatever came of that, but
I mean,
great
minds think alike.
Well,
maybe you sure they did?
Yes,
I haven't seen them, so
we'll show them to you. I think you'll be shocked how similar they look.
Okay, all right.
Just type in Solo ripoff posters, and I'm sure it'll come up. They made a mistake. I'm sure no one really cares about it, but those seem to mimic that same theme, color pattern. But
okay,
yeah.
But yeah, there's other things that kind of came out on the HoloNet, but just nothing really. We want to stay on that Mara Jade bit for a little bit. So let's hop into pondering with Kenobi.
Oh, I don't think so.
When you don't think so, Obi-Wan says, "I don't think so."
Obi-Wan says a lot.
He does. He says a lot, and he is the greatest Jedi Knight of all time.
Agreed.
If you don't agree with that, please comment below. And I will go back and forth with you on this one. Okay.
I think you have a lot of valid points.
I do. We actually plan on doing who is the greatest Jedi Knight discussion soon, but we'll need a roundtable for that.
We're gonna need probably like 5 SD cards too, because that's gonna be turned into like a 6-hour conversation.
Yes, it will.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. So, okay. So in pondering with Kenobi, our first question this week, as Mike and I were reading The Last Shot, there's an Ewok named Peekpa.
That's right.
And we are just so curious as to what happens with Peekpa. And before I go any further with that, we today are just covering The Last Shot Part 1, because Mike and I have day jobs, and to read all of that book in 1 week. We do sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I thought we just got paid by Disney.
We do that as well. I'm trying
to.
That's
right.
But anyways, we were wondering, Peekpa, what's going on with her after this book? So maybe something happens at the end that we don't know about yet. So just some speculation. I'm most excited about this character, actually, of all the characters. If you've listened to any other podcast on this, or any other episode on this podcast, you know that we are obsessed with Ewoks and Jawas and Ugnaughts and
I think we show the most love to the Ewoks more than any other podcast.
I think we do.
You ask me.
I really think we do. So, anywho, Peekpa is like obsessed with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And it's the cutest thing in the world. And she's also she's a splicer. She's like a tech wizard.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect that really from an Ewok.
Didn't learn that on Endor.
No, we did not learn that on Endor, I don't believe.
No.
So anyways, it just kind of shows you that there are talents, and there's a lot that the Ewoks can, like, the potential is huge. They just are a little bit primitive, and they know the ancient arts, the ancient magics.
That's right. Amen.
So magic walking sticks and
magic walking sticks, pebbles.
Right, exactly.
I mean, well, here this is a pondering that just popped into my head.
Yeah.
As we're talking about Peekpa's obsession with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Maz is also obsessed with Chewbacca.
I know.
Correct?
Yes.
It seems like Chewbacca is easy to love.
Yes.
Do you think Mala is the jealous type? Do you think... I mean, he's hardly ever home. Let's be honest.
Right.
I mean, he is home right now in Solo when we go to pick him up.
Right.
That's kind of the part where I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in The Last Shot.
In The Last Shot.
Yeah.
So he gets back home and spends some time with the family.
Right.
But also, Kashyyyk is decimated. It was pretty much an imprisonment of Wookiees.
Right, exactly. So they're on Kashyyyk, in Life Debt, that's actually in Aftermath, that's when they liberated Kashyyyk before the Battle of Jakku. And then this Last Shot book, in the present time takes place 2 years after the Battle of Jakku. So, anyways, but is she the?
Do you think in Solo when we see them saying goodbye, she's gonna be like, "Now let me tell you right here, Like, like in something in Wookiee, like
she probably does. There's probably like a super serious bond there that we don't even understand. They live a long time, and so maybe these long times away from family don't seem as long because they live longer lives.
Interesting,
perhaps. But yeah, there's a huge and they've been playing it up more in the books and everything that Chewbacca is just one sexy son of a gun.
That's right. And
it's said in this book multiple times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even really through Peekpa. It was actually through a couple other characters who were, who's that?
Who's the Wookiee?
Who's the Wookiee? Yeah, I mean, who's this guy? This big handsome fella. And so it's interesting. Maz thinks that Peekpa. There's a
It's probably because he gives the best hugs.
He gives the best hugs, and just an all around good guy.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
he's a good listener.
It's just kind of I just kind of pondered on that for a second.
Yeah, I got you.
The jealous stuff.
That happens.
I mean, I can see how she would be.
Yeah, I could too.
But
I think she knows they've got some special connection. So I think she's like, that's my man.
That's right.
That's my Wookiee, and so she's in good. She's fine. She's fine. We're all fine here.
I like it. But Peekpa, right? We're back to Peekpa. It probably doesn't return to Endor, right?
No, but I wonder what role did she play later on? Did she? Are there other? I know there are Ewoks who got into therapy, and they're therapy Ewoks. But there's more to Ewoks than that. I'm so glad that we saw that with Peekpa.
That's right.
Because that is so cool. Like when they first walk in, they kind of assume she's the receptionist. And she's pissed about that.
Yeah.
I'm
going to tell you something that you're going to freak out about.
Okay.
I know you haven't played Battlefront in a while.
Uh-huh. Oh, I've heard. Go ahead.
There's an Ewok.
Yeah.
Like game, match, whatever you want to call it, to where it's really actually pretty awesome. You have to be a stormtrooper. Well, at least I was at first. You're a stormtrooper out on Endor at night, and you have to survive the evening.
God.
You have to survive the night, and Ewoks are attacking you left and right, and you have a flashlight on your blaster, and it only lasts for like 20 seconds and then goes out and has to recharge.
Wow.
It's kind of stupid. But then you get to be the Ewoks and attack. I only got like 5 seconds of it because we ended up
Okay, that's
losing,
cool. If you get to be the Ewoks, see, I didn't realize you get to be them. So
But they're blasting Ewoks. You never see Ewoks really getting blasted in Return of the Jedi.
There was one sad scene where...
Well, you definitely...
I know, not a full-on like laser blast to the fur.
No, I mean, I saw stormtroopers surrounding a tiny Ewok just laying it. It was terrible.
That's terrible.
It was. So I needed to warn you, but yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So
I don't know if I'll be playing that or not.
The Ewoks are coming back, though.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Make
Absolutely.
Caravan of Courage canon.
Yes.
Make Battle for Endor canon. This might be our campaign.
I think
hashtag make it canon.
I think hashtag make.
Okay.
Yeah, Caravan of Courage.
We got some tweeting
canon.
to do.
We do. So anyway, we'll talk more about that as we get into The Last Jedi Part 1. But another thing we want to talk about here is the timeline in The Last Shot. So before we jump into that discussion, there is basically, like as I mentioned, 2 years after the Battle of Jakku, we see Han and Lando and Leia, and Ben is 2 years old. Ben Solo is 2 years old. And that's our present time. They're on Chandrilla. Is that what it is?
Yep.
And so they flash back to 15 years before that time. Yep. And it's the time in which Lando owned the Millennium Falcon, and he's with L3 doing their own thing. We'll get into that. And there's another time that they reference, which is 10 years before our current time, which is 2 years after the Battle of Jakku. We flash back 10 years to when Han owns the Millennium Falcon, and these two storylines kind of they're about the same villain, the same I guess just villain, and why that's coming back to haunt them now in the present.
Yes.
Easiest way to kind of put it. So I believe, though, the reason that they kind of did that is to show us that what takes place in the Solo movie, where it takes place in the timeline, is somewhere between 15 years and 10 years. Well, I guess after the battle, or before the Battle of Jakku, plus or minus 2.
they're definitely not going to, in the Last Shot book, they're not, guaranteed not going to have us be have Han introduced to Lando. That's what we're going to see.
Exactly, yeah.
In Solo. So it's kind of genius the way they're doing it. It's really cool.
It's a crafty, it's a you really got to pay attention. That's why it's taking us a little bit longer. We're going to kind of, because just the way it jumps around, you get, I almost want to go back and just read it with all the stuff 15 years with Lando and L3 in order, and then read the Han and Chewie and stuff on Takodana.
It'd be cool.
And see how that works out. It's a very different book, but it's the dialogue and banter and stuff is extremely well written. So we shall talk about that. But just to give you guys an idea as to what its role is and what it's kind of doing, it's getting us. We're seeing the Millennium Falcon in Lando's hands 15 years ago, and then we're seeing it in Han's hands 10 years ago. So back to Mara Jade.
Oh wow, yes, back.
Pondering.
The most important pondering.
It's really
that you were gonna say why it could happen and how it's gonna happen.
It's got me thinking, Mike.
Okay.
I just when Obi-Wan in episode 6. So in episode 5 first, we'll start there.
Okay.
The big bombshell, right?
Yeah.
Is no, I am your father, from Darth Vader to Luke.
Yeah.
And then in 6, there is another. The other that Yoda spoke of is your twin sister. Okay, and that was told to Luke through a Force ghost. Okay. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a character, mysterious character, that we interact with, and almost like Luke wanted to. It's something else that pains Luke.
Come on.
That Luke doesn't really want to talk about.
I see where you're going.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see where you're going.
And so it's a character who is like this mysterious character who maybe had helped them here or there, right?
Okay.
Force sensitive, not a huge character, not a big role, but is someone who Luke comes back and identifies that person as his wife.
Oh yeah.
And I could also see Ben Solo if they, and this is all if they were to put a Mara Jade into episode 9, how would they do it? Odds of them doing this are not very high.
Slim.
Just so you know. Very slim. But it's just seeing that casting or that sheet with Mara's name on it is huge. And they do that for a reason. So people like you and I will.
Oh, absolutely. Give us something to talk about while we're
freak out. Yeah, we'll freak out.
Absolutely.
And I guess, Kylo Ren would be someone who would know a dark secret or who would know something that happened between, Luke and his wife, right?
Yeah.
And why she left. She saw something. She saw a reason to take Rey to Jakku.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I love the idea. I think it's a lot to put in a last installment.
It would be very, yeah.
However, if we're going back and referencing 5 and 6, there was some unresolved stuff between Rey and Luke, right?
You mean, yes.
I mean, she felt him pass. She said it was peaceful, this and that. However,
it's not done.
It's not done.
Not even close to being done.
I feel like he might have an Obi-Wan moment and say, you were deceived by Ben Solo. Mm-hmm. You actually have a mother, and your mother was a great Jedi. Yeah. And we'll show a flashback of her taking Rey to Jakku. Yeah. Or Jakku. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. That's a lot to fit in the last installment.
Wouldn't
that be cool?
That would be cool. What if they go back to, and they reference something in Legends where Mara Jade was killed by Luke's nephew. In Legends.
Maybe she was in the temple.
So maybe she was in the temple, and that's one of those things that hurts so much, right? God. Is that he...
Why wouldn't he flee? He lost his wife. He lost everything.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so maybe we get like a flashback, and it's a real small, thing, but maybe she made the preparations to... And this piece with Rey doesn't have to be there, but perhaps it's just that he lost someone that he loved, right? And there still could be a secret child out there somewhere.
That would be sick.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There are ways to do it.
Yeah.
There will be a bombshell of some kind dropped.
Has to be.
There just will be. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be necessarily, but it's going to be huge. So I don't think you could do that as much in The Last Jedi because it happened so quickly after The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
You know?
You're absolutely right.
The bombshells were that Luke was in the place that he was in, you know, and that Rey is no one, air quote, on that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, Snoke dying pretty quick was kind of a bombshell. I mean, Kylo, everyone thought he was going to turn in that moment. He didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some big bombshell moments, but you're absolutely right. That happened so immediate after. There isn't a whole lot of development that took place, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, J.J. Abrams, I think, could very easily go back.
He could.
And do whatever it is that he wanted to do after 7.
People say that Ryan has written this in a way in which J.J. can't, like he would have to retcon it or whatever. I don't think
Disagree,
so.
Yep.
I do disagree, because, respectfully, but like I actually
always
think,
respectfully.
I just think, how many times are we, you know, come on here.
Yep.
In episodes 4, we're lied to.
Yep.
And then when 5 came out, I remember listening to Rebel Force Radio, people walked out in, you know, the early 80s there and said, that's a lie. They're lying to us. I can't wait to figure out who his real father is. That's a lie. This is crazy. What's happening?
They probably were the Germans too.
Probably, yeah. But I mean, isn't that radical, right?
Absolutely.
So it just, I don't know, man. It kind of makes me think that, you know, then Obi-Wan has to come and drop some knowledge as well, and Yoda's holding, you know, secrets and stuff. So people are keeping information close to the chest, and it could still be a Snoke situation. It still could be whatever. I don't know.
There are rumors that Yoda's coming back for 9.
I know.
Which is interesting. I kind of always thought that after watching The Last Jedi, Luke was going to come back as a Force ghost. So maybe that makes it even more of a certain thing that Luke is coming back. If Yoda's there, maybe it's... I don't know if they would like intervene in a war or something like that, but...
People have talked about it. People have talked about the idea that these Force ghosts would step forward to combat other, you know, dark side.
It's not that crazy as
It's
episode
yeah.
episode 6.
Right. Yeah, the original intent, right?
Yeah.
When you look at the different versions that they had going into that, the idea that Yoda's face would come across the screen and like block the Force lightning of Emperor Palpatine, that would be wild. And they've shown that Yoda can influence, you know, the carnal, you know, flesh and blood world. So he's out. He can step back in to our world, you know, from the spirit world, from the nether side of the Force.
Yeah.
So from the nether world.
I don't. We're taking this into a kind of a speculation of 9,
and I'm okay with it.
And I'm okay with it.
That's where Pondering with Kenobi takes us.
It takes us into,
my friend. That's the point.
Lands. I think we all maybe have an understanding of maybe Rey creating, especially with Luke saying, I'm not going to be the last Jedi, and pretty much she's not going to be either. And you see these kind of Force-sensitive children from the working class, I would say, of the galaxy.
Right.
That, to me, kind of solidifies there will be some sort of Jedi order of in some regard.
Right.
Somewhat representative of the old guard. What's Kylo Ren going to do? Is Kylo Ren going to have a faction of his own? Are the Knights of Ren going to come back into play? Like,
yes.
I don't know what they're going to do. Is he so power hungry? He has to know he needs help, right?
Well, and like I said, if we get a good 10-year gap, we could see an academy that he has started.
Yeah.
You know, we could see that happening with his Knights of Ren, you know, or what have you.
Yeah.
Searching out some ancient Sith relics or tapping into some power that's going to destroy the galaxy or something like that, for sure.
When with the new kind of conceptualizations of the Force, do we even know what the Sith or the dark side can become after death? We don't even really know.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot on that. I mean, there's stuff in Legends that we can pull from, for sure. But, yeah, the way in which they come back and the way that they are kind of have eternal life is very much like almost like a haunting, right? They're kind of stuck to a place, dark side energy in or around some monument, or they possess someone who comes to that place. You know, their spirit.
Sounds like the Night Sisters.
Right. Could be something like that, you know. so there's all of that. That there are things that they haven't shown us in the major films that they could show us. So that would be kind of interesting to see. And if that happens, Snoke would be that type of character who would come back.
He was powerful,
right? I mean,
powerful.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of cool. Now, who we're forgetting in all of this is the real hero.
Oh, sorry,
Finn. Let's just take a moment.
Are you still thinking that he is force sensitive and is going to be the hero?
I just have a feeling he reminds me of like a Kyle Katarn, or
great point.
Like someone who could wade, or like a Corran Horn, or someone who kind of wades in between, like being a soldier, having many different roles, just a hero, you know?
Wields a blaster and a grenade better than a lightsaber.
Yeah, but also has fought with a lightsaber twice.
Hello.
Okay, and has fought and wounded Kylo Ren, my friends. Who else has done that? Okay,
I think he has more experience than Rey does with a lightsaber. Well, no, technically both of them have been in 2 fights.
Right.
Good call. Good call.
But still, isn't that cool? Right? I mean, that's
a great point.
It's super cool that he's had
a great
two experiences there with that. So could we see something where he kind of, not disappears, but maybe goes on his own journey, a miniature hero journey over these years, and comes back? And I don't know, man. I just keep thinking Rey might get herself into something that's just like, she's obsessed with this force connection, what have you, and it almost blinds her to her friends around her. And Finn just, is the hero and steps back in and says, "This party's over." And just, I mean,
you think even after what happened in 8 that there's the potential that she would still be obsessed with this force connection and Ben Solo?
Yes.
Wow.
100%, actually.
Wow. See, I thought the line had been drawn in the sand.
No, I think it might not turn to like it's not like it's a, I'm not so sure that it's still a relationship type of thing, but there's an obsession there.
Okay.
There's still an obsession with this connection, and I don't think that it's completely been severed.
Okay.
I think that it was actually there before Snoke realized that it's there. I think that's a misconception people have, is that in The Force Awakens, there is a connection.
Yeah.
They are connected. I see it. I see the island. Okay. It's just he has, for some reason, a connection with her, and their minds sort of connect. Snoke stimulates that, or bridges that connection, or strengthens it in a way in which they can just, ba-boom, force face with one another.
Wow. That somewhat sounded sexual.
Yeah. So.
But so, gosh. This is going to turn into a whole episode 7 discussion.
It's fine.
I don't think we can, because I'm not going to stop. We need to start, and maybe in the next episode, this can be our flagship discussion.
Okay.
We need to start evaluating 7 and seeing how JJ's going to tie those in.
Yeah.
I feel like we're so concerned with 8 when in reality, not a whole lot developed out of 8. I mean, there were some big things. Snoke and Luke, huge developments.
Yeah.
But that's JJ's film. The third always has to tie back in with the first.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Rey's Force vision.
Yep.
I mean, we hear Obi-Wan Kenobi. I feel like they could make reference to these things. They could bring Obi-Wan in. Remember that? These are your first steps. Like,
oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
We got to start tying in some of these things that I think he could very well bring back.
You're right. Gosh dang it, man. Here's a question. In that Force vision where she sees Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren around him, it's raining, it's muddy, he has his mask on, correct?
Great point.
Okay. And does he have, when he destroys the temple, he doesn't have a mask? You're right. When he destroys the temple, it's right after. Yeah, go ahead. Take a moment and think about it.
You're absolutely right.
So was that a vision of the future?
Dagnabbit, pull up that video about these speculations that we did. I said it was the future.
You did say that.
This is not the past that we're looking at.
No.
That is the future.
What is the past?
Well, technically,
because it's a long time ago.
Past.
Like it's a vision of the future. Okay, don't forget. But
that's a great point. Either that's a huge slip up on, Rian Johnson's part, maybe,
because it didn't look like there were bodies laying around there. It looked like there were bodies laying around the Knights of Ren, and they were out in the rain.
Yeah.
And, you know,
they all kind of were dressed to the nines in their kind of dark sideness, I think.
Right. And I think it was a couple weeks ago in Pondering with Kenobi, I'd asked a question on Twitter about what happened to the Knights of Ren, and I did a little research, and I looked up where Ryan said he just didn't see a place for them in this movie. Really, he said not that they're not there or not still a thing, but you know, this sort of takes place right after that. It's very unique in that there is no time gap. I mean, even between 4 and 5, there's some time, and then between 5 and 6, there's time. Definitely that you see that in the prequels as well. Yep. A significant amount of time passes, and there's a lot of story in between those episodes. There's not a lot of story, next to none, between episodes 7 and 8. So the Knights of Ren are doing their own thing. You know,
great point.
And that was probably a vision.
The mask.
The mask. But now but see, he's destroyed the mask. You know, in this, does he bring it back?
But
he could. He absolutely
very well could.
He absolutely could
for the future. But
it's his thing. It's what he wears.
Two kind of. I don't know if you call that a plot hole. I don't know. It's not like he had some mask stored away and he destroys the temple and throws it on and they're killing.
I mean, but I mean, don't get me wrong here. It also could be she has a vision of something that happened just before the Force Awakens. You know, it might not be the attack on the temple. It could have been this story that we might get more on. We might get a continuation of that vision. And see who it was that was, you know, from her point of view, it's her laying down, and then the guy that's stabbed with the lightsaber. Remember, there's a guy, looks like he's swinging down on whoever's laying in the mud, and it looks like Kylo Ren runs him through the lightsaber. I think that's a story that there's whatever backstory may come in 9 has something to do with that.
Yeah, that's such a huge prominent part of that vision.
Yeah.
It's that scene right there. It was trying to tell us something. It definitely felt like it was the temple scene, but the mask could be a game changer. It could be a plot hole either way. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It could be.
But I don't know,
still.
that makes it more interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
how did we go from Mara Jade?
This is what we do.
This
is what we do on Rebel Watch, guys. This is what we do.
Ponder and ponder and ponder. I think it's the Ugnaught.
Yeah, it is. It probably is.
We just rub it a couple of times.
Florks. Biggles. Florks Biggles.
I love it. Love it.
All right, so anything else for pondering with Kenobi? I think we've...
No, man, I want to touch more on this episode 9 discussion. We need to make it a big... I mean, because that's what we do as we get out ahead of it. It's what we did with episode 8.
Right,
now,
we do.
Was any of it really right? No. But dag nabbit,
but I still think our Jakku video is relevant.
It's still relevant.
So, which is crazy.
Especially with JJ coming back.
Absolutely, yeah. So now remember, as we just did there, and when you're speculating, make sure you speculate responsible.
That's right. Thank you, thank you, Force Center.
Yeah,
for that wise
counsel,
wise statement. Yes, thank you for the counsel.
Okay, all right, guys. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about The Last Shot, Part 1. And we're back.
That's perfect.
We're talking about The Last Shot. I don't know.
I think you should do a book reading.
I need to drink coffee before I do that.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought it was spot on, though.
Yeah. All fives and gores after us again. No. Okay. So enough of that. We're back. We're talking about The Last Shot Part 1. Mike and I are going to do kind of a... there will be spoilers ahead, so it's sort of just the first part here, and we'll get into the second part maybe next week.
Yes,
and probably comb back through the first half again on that, so it'll be a little heavier next week.
Hello.
So let's sort of, as I did earlier, we'll kind of set the stage here. When this book starts, we are 2 years after the Battle of Jakku. Ben Solo is
2 years old.
2 years old, and loves his daddy.
Dada, he's speaking.
Yes, he's speaking just a few words. Absolutely loves his father, and misses him when he goes away. And
what happened?
It's it like literally is like it tears at you a little bit. You're like, oh my gosh, and there's so much love there.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we're there, right? And we're kind of talking. We're on Chandrila, and it's like Mon Mothma's home world. It's sort of a world in which they've established the New Republic, and they're governing from that world in a sense. Mon Mothma shows up. Well, actually, Mon Mothma. Well, she's there, but I think she's just there
in
hollow. Yeah. She's in hollow form. But I believe she's on the same planet, so they're in Hana City there. And some things come, to come about to kind of haunt Han. Some things from his past creep back. And basically, Lando also has an issue with... like early on here, we see it in present time at Cloud City. There's these group of like Twi'leks that come and they are like touring Cloud City. And I forget what is her name.
Kasha Batine.
Kasha, yeah. So Kasha is like this Twi'lek that just like loves, Lando and brings a bunch of students or whatever, and she's there just getting a tour. And during this tour, I think they had like a romantic. Something or another during the Galactic Civil War.
They definitely know each other.
They do. They know each other, and it gets a little steamy in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, it does.
There's some towels. They're not always on. It's great.
Making an escape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sans clothes.
Right. Yeah. So, and right out the gate, this you kind of get this from the perspective of a protocol droid. And there's like what happens? He's like sort of taken over, correct?
Somehow this menacing creature, I'm not even sure what it is, kind of hijacks the droid. It's what's the name of the droid at that point? It's not L3, is it?
No,
it's some other
D9 or something like that.
D9, something like that. Some other protocol droid. Then he gets hijacked pretty much, and he's like reprogrammed to attack and kill Lando Calrissian.
Yeah. Kill
his owner.
Calrissian. Yeah.
Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his eyes turn red, and we don't know why this is happening. Mysterious figure is there, kind of guiding this protocol droid to go kill Lando. Actually, gets the drop on Lando.
Does.
Takes him...
in the middle of it.
Yeah. In the middle of him getting low action.
That's right.
And... is able to kind of tell him that they need him to track down what was that thing called? The phalanx?
Some transmitter, the phalanx or phalanx transmitter of some sort of transmitter.
Right, and the last person that had it, this creature believes was the owner of the Millennium Falcon. And so Lando's all pissed, and he goes to Hana City, Chandrila, and he and Han get into it, and they kind of, he's like, "This is your fault. This is the reason I got." He's scared. He got he has Lobot has overtaken his security. He's Lando prides himself in being a real tech savvy guy and having the best security and stuff like that. And it was kind of alarming that his security was breached in such a way. So anyways, they kind of have at it, and they're talking about their past. And do you know this Fyzen Gore? This Fyzen Gore character, this villain, and Han's like...
Initially he denies it, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he kind of denies it, but then, Lando provides a few more details, and he finally fesses up to, I
may have made a run or two for...
Yeah, I remember Fyzen, the phalanx or whatever it's called, thingamabob, but he just really plays it off like he has no idea. And... so he and Lando are kind of, there's some stuff going on with Mon Mothma and Leia, and they're dealing with New Republic stuff, and so they've got to deal with this because I think they give Lando a certain amount of time. He needs to bring that transmitter to Fyzen Gore, or else. Is that right?
I can't remember.
I think so. I think he gives him an ultimate, because that's the thing. Basically, Lando knows that he is either fix this, either hunt down this Fyzen Gore guy, because he's after Lando.
I thought they were afraid that the transmitter was going to cause
That too.
pretty much hell on
in the galaxy. That too.
They're trying to prevent that.
But I think originally they were given a time limit like that, like because originally, I guess from the villain's perspective, it's just like I'm gonna scare the bejeebies out of these guys, and then boom, they're gonna go help me track this thing down and get it. And then we get into the story of how it was stolen and how it was lost to the galaxy, sort of thing.
Yeah, from two different perspectives, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is where it gets a little bit different, but then you flash back to the first flashback is just 10 years ago. And it's with Han Solo. He has a Millennium Falcon. They're on Takodana. Maz is there. And they're partnering. They partner up.
Just trying to do. He's going to make a run, right?
Right.
He gave up smuggling, supposedly.
Well, he's always giving it up and taking it back up again and stuff like that. But he's approached by what was her name? A female super. It's the girl. It's that he fake marries sort of thing.
Oh, Sana.
Yeah,
not Sana Stark. Sana. What's her name? I can't remember.
Yeah, but anyways, so she's. Let's see if I can find it real quick. That's okay. Oh, before I forget to mention,
Sana Staros. There it is.
Sana Staros.
Yeah.
The novel's written by we mentioned this last week. Daniel Jose Older, and he actually reads in the Audible book. He does the 10-year flashback. He actually reads that part, and it sounds like a younger Han, and it's really cool. So if you want to check that out on Audible, it's actually
direct
really cool.
impersonation.
Yeah, it was right.
Yeah.
They called me in for the Audible book and did a couple.
Did you do the 10-year or the 15?
So,
sick.
But anyways, yeah. So Sana Staros is there, and they're getting into some trouble at Maz's castle. They don't really know what they're into.
Yeah.
She just tells them that this transmitter is a big deal. The Empire's trying to get it. A couple other corporations are trying to get it. We need to get our hands on this.
They can pay off your debts.
All
blah,
all this
blah.
stuff, right? Han's the best. Chewbacca's there, and Phison Gore happens to be. I think they have it, and he might have tracked them. There's the Transdotion.
I think she has it. Yeah, she has it, and cons Han into joining her.
Exactly.
And they some like Bosk-like individuals show up.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Transdotions.
Right, but then also Phison himself shows up. Correct?
Yeah, I can't remember that part.
Yeah, because sorry. That's because I'm a little bit further than you, and you find out.
Go back. And he was there. Okay.
You find out that as they're running through Takodana, he's actually there trying to get this back from them.
See, you have all this foresight.
Sorry,
I have no idea.
Sorry,
I was like, am I missing something? That makes sense.
But no, so I'll try not to spoil that piece or whatever. But there's the setup for the 10-year, piece on Takodana, and then you come back to the table, and they're still. You'll see them. They're assembling a team. They pick up this pilot whose name is Han Solo. What's his name?
Goes by Taco.
Yeah,
Taco or something like that.
Right, and I think that's the character that has two heads, isn't it? They keep saying them.
Call them or they. Yeah, I always
multiple. Isn't it? Is it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It has to be.
Maybe not.
I didn't know if they didn't want to identify a gender or something.
I can't remember. I think
it would have.
They mentioned his species, and I just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Don't have the actual physical book with me yet, so I need to go back and look at that
a little bit when you're reading it.
Yeah, it definitely threw me off. But really cool. This hotshot, kind of pilot who is. When they go down in Chandrilla, they're looking for a pilot. They're going to go. Leia basically says, "Hey, this got to be off the books.
Can't take the Falcon.
Yeah, the New Republic stuff. You can't fly. I mean,
wear these helmets.
Can't trace this back to me in any way. So it's really making it a little bit more difficult. But Han's like, okay, we got it. Lando's like, we got it.
Can I say something? I'm shocked by how. I mean, at this point, he's no longer a general.
Yes,
he talks about
he gave that up.
Left. Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm kind of shocked by how separate they're living their lives, so to speak. Not necessarily that they're not together, but that when Mon Mothma shows up for that discussion on the Hollow, Han's like, I really don't want to know what's going on, and just like she kind of interrupts him, and he's kind of annoyed by that.
Right.
And she doesn't even really want Han to know what's going on so much. Like you don't even have this clearance anymore. Why am I telling you these things?
Right.
And then when he's talking about this run, she's like, I don't really want to know. Like, it's best to just, denial of culpability. Like, I don't want to be a part. It kind of shocked me.
Dude, wait till you get to the end.
I can't wait.
Because I'm not all the way to the end, but I'm about 85% through. And some big,
he
stuff you wouldn't imagine happens at the end.
This Daniel guy did a great job of just making I'm starting to better understand why Ben Solo is the way he is.
Yeah.
And so dysfunctional. I mean, it's every teenager story of my family. But, like, they were seriously dysfunctional.
They were. And Han keeps kind of struggling. He's in the beginning of this, the struggle is he can't keep Ben asleep. The droids are interrupting. Yeah. Mon Mothma's there. Business meetings are happening. We want to get some sleep. Anybody, I don't have kids, but I know my sister went through all of this, and I watch her just like, seems like she hasn't slept in days, trying to keep the kids asleep and stuff. So, I don't know.
He really repeatedly, he's like, I'm not good at this being a father or a husband. Like, he's just, I'm looking towards the stars. He said something like that, just that open space.
He's still just kind of like, don't know how to do this the right way, but he wants to, but he feels like he's going to mess it up, and he just doesn't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
And just doesn't know what to do. So when this opportunity comes around with Lando, he's ready to go. And as a matter of fact, Mike, he actually sneaks back into his bedroom there and is ready to grab his to-go bag and kind of like leave a note. Almost, I thought he was going to like leave a note and just say, sorry, I got to go save the galaxy again, which essentially is what they're doing.
Yeah.
But, she's already got it. She knows him, and she knows that he needs this. And here you go. Just come back to me, and she can take care of Ben and all this stuff. And he just is like, she just does it better. And she'll even say, you didn't have a good father figure, so it's okay, but Ben loves his dad.
He does.
And it's just it breaks your heart, man. I'm like,
I hope we can learn a little more. I mean, I don't know. In Solo, Han seems to be pretty optimistic at the beginning. So is it simply whatever happens in this movie that makes him the way he is? Or when she talks about not having that father figure, are we going to see that in the beginning? Kind of like, Rogue One doing that kind of that throwback of like her as a young kid. Are we going to see that?
We'll see a
father figure?
Yeah, well, I think we might see a young like a child Han Solo, maybe briefly, like we did in Rogue One. We mentioned that last week. Man, something that happens in this book, at one point, Lando and he get in a heated moment 3/4 of the way through the book, and then they start talking about the old days, and they're like, were they really, it's like, like when Lando says, just like, the old days, man. It's just like he's like remembering and just relishing in the thought of the old times, and then Han was like, do you really miss those times? Do you really miss those times? And it's like, so and Lando's like, the way he describes it, is like running around, gallivanting around the galaxy doing X, Y, and Z. The way he describes it is pretty awesome. And and Han's like, well, when you put it like that, I guess I miss the old days too.
Yeah,
and they think back on it fondly. And Lando says something, but there were. He says that those times kind of made him who he is today.
Yeah.
All of that learning that they went through, all the ups and downs they had. And Han brings up a moment. He's like, yeah, we've had some lows or something. Like, we've had a really, like it seemed like one memory in particular really stuck out to him. And they both were somber and like quiet about it.
Wow.
And wouldn't talk about it. And they kind of talk about how the tension built there or whatever, and I believe it's exactly what's going to happen in the Solo movie.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to see.
That's awesome.
So
because I'm picking up some of that from the first half of the book, but there was a moment where he's having a call, whatever you want to call it, with Leia, and Ben shows up or whatever, but she's like, I can tell something's wrong. Like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, I think I miss you. That was a really cool moment. To where she's like, oh, don't seem so uncertain about it, but he is like, he's not. I don't know if he's ever really had those feelings, right. I miss that life. I miss being with my family.
Yeah,
it's total conflict.
Well, he's never been a guy who's like settled down. You really get in this book all the different places that they go, the planets that they hit, sectors that they're in. it felt like old times again, and they're not just settled down on Cloud City or Chandrilla.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're kind of reminded that this is different for them to be settled down and stuff.
Absolutely.
Even Lando's going through that with his lady friend. They're having this back and forth. Is she the one? Type of conversation. So apparently there's something really special about touching a Twi'lek's,
what do they call those?
Head, I can't remember what they call them exactly. But
it's more sensual than anything.
Yes, it is.
And she just leaves it at that.
Right, and his hand's like hanging and it's like hovering above. He's like, so can I touch it? Or that? It's just funny. So anyways, yeah, and so we've talked about the 10 years. I don't know if I actually got a chance to mention the 15 years ago, though. So we'll talk about that briefly, and then we'll probably table it there. But
we're jumping around just like the book does. I mean, the book is this way.
It is this way.
It takes a little to get used to.
It does.
Be honest.
It really does.
Trying to remember 3 different stories.
Right.
Understanding that they're all related, but they're somewhat similar, so it gets kind of confusing at times. But
yeah, and they do a good job of telling you, Takodana, Maz's castle 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Boom. That's what it leads in with. And then you're right into that story. And then 15 years ago, Lando, with L3 at such and such place, the moon of whatever.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we pick up there with Lando and L3, his droid, and he have a very strong bond. Yes. And basically she convinces him, to leave this party where he was going to hook up and all this stuff. And he can sense right away that this is urgent. She needs me now. He's sensitive to her droid, rights issues that she's always raising and stuff. And so he just up and goes. We have to leave now. People's lives are at stake. And so he goes.
Yeah.
Based upon L3.
Huge trust there.
Yeah. Huge. So he and L take off.
Absolutely. What did you think of that? I mean, right off the bat, there's a lot of banter between those characters. It reminds me of a little bit of K2.
Yeah. Yep.
And what's his face?
Oh, Cassian?
Cassian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But unlike Cassian, I mean, you have Lando who has a very strong personality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot more bantering, but I also like this is I don't know. This is a droid that is sensing feelings almost. Like understanding when Lando's having a feeling, he's like, well, I understand that you're having that feeling, and I'm a droid. I don't have those feelings, but I understand what you're doing right now. You're having this feeling.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot of, I mean, we don't see that from many other droids, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is a different type of droid.
They talk about a little bit like as to why droids have personalities and how they develop personalities and what it is in their core that allows them to develop personalities over time.
Yeah.
Almost like we're turning into artificial intelligence here, which is really what this story ends up being about.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you're right. L3 has some very, they bring up really interesting points. Like these droids have been around. Think about R2-D2 and all the things he's seen and how long he's been around.
Good
and
point.
He transcends all of the living flesh and blood characters.
Good point.
And they're kind of looked down upon, right? Yeah. And not held up and, revered as Fyzen Gore.
It's all about the war of the machines.
Yes. Yeah.
So some people were worried that he was going to be, or she was going to be just like K2, and maybe from the scenes in the solo trailer you can get that. But when you read this book, this is a different droid.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a completely different droid, and the character, the relationship is more like Chewie and Han, just with more response from the droid than you get with Chewie.
Absolutely.
But really nice compliments to each other. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And you can really tell that like Lando cares about this droid and her agenda and what she wants to accomplish. And, and she respects Lando for that, even though sometimes he might not think it's whatever. But, hey, if it's important to you, cool. Let's do it,
And he just straight up believes her. She gives him nothing.
Nope.
From the beginning. Even when they're about where they need to be to get some information or whatever, he still has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, he has no idea what's happening, and he's just trusting L3. So they've got a really good relationship.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's kind of 15 years. They're also tracking down Fyzen Gore. You find out that he is actually from Utapau system. So that was interesting. And if you, a little random fact here, Utapau was actually one of the original planets listed in A New Hope, which is kind of neat. Yeah. And so it came back in episode 3. And they're the ones that they talk about their jacked up, teeth or whatever, And I thought that was kind of funny. But Phison is, at one point he's a medical student. Is that what he is on Utapau? He's a. Did you get that?
He was the most. He was with
biology and stuff like that. He was very well versed.
In school, and they
a doctor. He was in school to be a doctor.
Well, the Utapauians aren't they revered medical people?
Right.
And so he and his friend have a little encounter.
Yeah, the whole school or academy is sort of sacked or taken over by pirates or something like that, and they're looking for the most prestigious student who's the smartest in here. And there were things that he was even teaching his teachers. He was so Phison was super advanced, and he ends up taking his first life once they capture him. They kill his friend, and he is with a couple medical droids, and there's a cargo hold full of medical droids, and the ship is being piloted by a medical droid. And they're coming up against another group of pirates, and it ends up that their ship gets shot down, and he ends up killing a pirate that comes to get him, and they're trying to save his friend and one of the other pirates that's there, and he just sort of has this revelation that he's talking to, I think it's not 21B, but it's essentially it's a 21 droid, I guess. It's a medical droid, or B1. I don't know. I forget how they're classified, but. So this medical droid has lost its arm, and it's just so he's amazed at the ability of the medical droid and its precision and how it doesn't flinch, steady hands, the things in which it can do. It's just so superior, but yet they're treated in an inferior way, And so he, the student, was the one that was sought after, and for his mind and his. Just advancements he was making in the medical field. And he's realizing that the folly of flesh and just the mortality, and we're not around that long. He sees his friend die. He ends up shooting somebody who's trying to kill him, and then he tries to save his friend's life. And then we get into this really weird piece where he's like, we sometimes would take a droid's arm, or a droid's leg, or if we have something's been amputated, we might, Luke has, his hand, right, his fixed and things. It's never the other way around.
We wouldn't give an arm for a droid.
We would not give a flesh and blood arm to a droid. And he says, why not? So why can't we make that work?
Concept.
Well, and they start to talk about what would it take to keep the oxygen in the blood flowing and to keep that sort of alive. Is there something that you could that a medical droid could do to facilitate that? And he has this real back and forth with this droid, and basically creates cyborg beings.
Yeah.
So who he can control with this Phylix transmitter thingy. Yeah. And so it's the most sought after device in the galaxy right now. That's the gist of it.
That's a perspective in a million years I never thought we would get from a Star Wars novel, movie, ever.
It's very different.
We have evil droids and stuff, but never any human really sympathizing on behalf of the droids and taking up a cause.
Yeah.
An evil cause.
Dude.
For the droids. That is... props to this Daniel author and story group for even offering that kind of... I mean, we talked about humanizing the Empire. And be like, that's a great concept. Cool. Let's humanize the droids.
Yeah.
Hashtag humanizing the droids.
Right. Whoa, easy there, Mike.
Whoa, yeah. What's AI? The computers are rising.
Right.
But I don't know. That's an interesting perspective. I mean, we're kind of living in an AI society at this point, and not completely, but hints of it. And I don't know.
Well, you go back
things to come. Was it a long time ago, or is it the future?
Maybe.
I'm confused.
But right, exactly. Got to keep this in perspective here. Something in the beginning of the story when they have a droid in the house that's making coffee for Han.
Yeah.
And he's always yelling at it and like, shut up, we're trying to sleep. Gosh, why are you're always interrupting, Ben, he's trying to sleep, and I don't care, shut up. He just treats the droid very disrespectfully, right?
Yeah.
And Mon Mothma is like, you shouldn't treat them like that. They serve us, they're doing their job, they're trying to help and stuff like that. And he's almost like, it's just a droid, He just sort of dismisses it.
Yeah. That's what people said about Johnny 5 in Short Circuit.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just a droid, just a robot.
Right. So it is different, and it's interesting, and Han learns a lot. There is more to come next week because wait till you find out about the Council of the 12.
If it's not Ewoks, I'm gonna be pissed.
It's gonna be something that's gonna blow your mind. It's very strange, and you're gonna like it.
But that's what's, I don't know. Talking about it now, it makes me like this book even more, because what I really liked in the beginning was the banter with Lando and Han and how realistic it felt. I'm picturing even young Lando and young Han and old Han and old Lando talking and having discourse, reading this transcription, what's going on. I mean, even interruptions, he does a great job of writing. But now I'm really appreciating even more this just concept of droids and their purpose and the way they're treated in the galaxy. And is there some moment in the future in the Star Wars galaxy to where droids just become respectable, kind, and they have equal rights? And
right, yeah, it could
I don't know.
I know
It's
a bold new frontier.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it brings up a lot of cool stuff, and I think it's once we get to the part 2 next week, we can kind of dive into more of what happens and wrap it up. But there's some really neat twists here at the end, and it kind of gives you some insights into the New Republic. And then at the end, kind of jumped ahead just a little bit to want to see what's happening right at the end. So I got to fill in the gaps in that last third. But some neat stuff at home with Leia and Ben.
Do you think this book is necessary to read? I mean, not necessarily necessary, but do you think it's worthwhile to read this before Solo? Everyone out there.
You wouldn't really have to read it.
No.
But it does give you... It just helps you understand those two characters better. And it definitely gets you into the world of smuggling, and you understand what that's like a little bit more. Things that they do. Introduce you to different species, different planets and worlds, which might get referenced. And it's nice because they did a little bit on the front end of like understanding the New Republic and post Episode 6, but then really filled in some gaps and kind of followed some characters around. You learn about some of the crime syndicates and things like that too. So that might be kind of neat, going into the movie to learn some of those things.
Yeah.
So, but it's not necessary. But it definitely, because you never really get to see the piece that we're going to see, which is Han and Lando meeting up, their infamous meeting. But it is nice to see them apart from one another. Really, Lando. The coolest part, I think, is seeing Lando before he ever meets Han,
and the interaction with L3 and how
he's
that's
with it.
Yeah,
because that will be your backstory for him leading into this. You're not going to get a lot of Lando's backstory, really.
Exactly.
So you're going to get some of Han's, but this book gives you a lot of Lando,
and hopefully some of Chewie's.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, one of the coolest parts, I don't know if we mentioned, is the Peekpa, council, where she shows they go to Kashyyyk. They've got to recruit Chewie for this, and since they've liberated Kashyyyk, he's been on his home world, and they show up there, and it is like there's a mysterious creature who is
terrorized.
They're stealing young Ewoks, and their limbs, dismembering them, and their body parts and stuff.
Messed up.
It's Phison. It's this Phison guy.
Yeah.
I want him locked away, Mike.
I do too. Save the droids.
Save the
Wookiee
children.
The Wookiee children. They've got a planet to rebuild. So
it's but terrible. It's something, and so it's like this dark kind of like night council when they come to Kashyyyk. It's a really cool scene.
Can't wait.
And just
does Logray show up like through the fire, like Splinter and Turtles? He just
the Ewoks are now communicating.
That would be so
with
sick.
The Wookiees.
That would be sick.
Oh my gosh! But
special bond.
Yeah, but it's neat. So anyways, we'll get to part 2 next week though, and if you guys have questions or things that you want answered about The Last Shot, hit us up on Twitter at RW. 2187 or Womprat_2 meters. Hit us up on Facebook. Mike is on there. You guys can check him out there. And or send us an email at rebelwatchpodcasting at gmail.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in the short time that we've been podcasting, our good friend Nick,
that's a long
Juan Cholo, definitely hit us up with some solid stuff. I love this guy because every once in a while he'll just kind of, he'll hit us up with this random long message. He's had a few, solid Carillion ales in him, and he's just like, let's go. He's just so jacked.
It's like he has a reminder on his calendar to like once a month hit up Rebel Watch.
Oh my gosh!
Tell him all my thoughts that I've had build up for a few weeks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I know it's great. So basically, he says in here he loves pondering with Kenobi. He's got a couple ideas for us. So for next week, we'll kind of throw those into the show. And then he's even talking about donating to children's and stuff like that too. Yes. So that'll be a lot of fun.
We want more of that. We want other people's ponderings. We want the comments. We're going to dig into those in those YouTube comments, the Facebook comments. We get quite a few messages and stuff on Facebook.
We do.
People's thoughts and critiques.
And we're getting new people every day that come in and listen and send us emails and like the page and stuff. So, thank you to everybody who is just joining. If you want to go back and check out some other episodes, that's cool. Or stick right here and carry on, jump right into the discussion. So
absolutely.
So, yeah, we're excited for that. So, anything else, buddy, as we wrap up?
No, just ponder with us.
Please.
There's only so much you and I can ponder on, and
is there though?
Yeah, we could probably go for a few hours.
We could probably never stop. Yeah,
we don't have enough SD cards to hold all the memory.
True.
But we really love conversing with you guys online, and also the phone number. As we
absolutely
have yet to get our first. I almost called and left a voicemail in like a Yoda impersonation. She'd be like, who is this mysterious character?
Oh my
he
God.
sounds really handsome and also very knowledgeable of the Force.
Right.
But I didn't get around to it, so I'm hoping someone else does. Give us your best Yoda impersonation, or you can just speak in your normal voice as well.
Impersonations are encouraged. That's really what we want. I think I've been listening the number on at the bottom of all of our Podbean episodes, and I've also been putting it in our YouTube description.
Yes, YouTube. In the YouTube description, it's actually on the last video too. We'll go ahead and pop it up on the video right now, so you can get that as well. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a 614 number.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that.
540.
Didn't this happen to us last time we tried
to?
Like, Mike pulls up the number and he doesn't know it.
Doesn't know it yet. So I don't even know my own number.
We don't even, and I can't even get like any of our internet connection to work.
Everything's broken down. This might not even be recording at this point. Just shut it down.
Just shut it down.
But the number will be right here in the video and in the description. But it is a 614 area code. I do know that for certain.
Yeah, you do.
But give us a call. We will literally play your voicemail on the podcast.
Yeah, that's something
live.
I think next week or the week after we're going to start doing audio clips basically, and Mike, if you watch on YouTube, we'll have our headsets on.
Absolutely.
And that's gonna be fun. So just pulling some clips, like today for example, I pulled up episode 4, and Mike and I were looking at one of the most epic scenes in episode 4, which was right before the battle at over Yavin versus the Death Star.
Yep.
And Red Leader. We were talking about Red Leader and how epic he is, right?
Yeah.
Of course I don't have it on here.
It's going into yeah, that's okay.
That's sad.
That's okay. It gets sad. Everywhere. I just saw that description. But he's going in and covering, Gold Squadron for their bombing attack run. It's a great scene.
Yeah, well, it's the scene where Red 2 is look at the size of that thing. He's like,
cut it down. Yeah, cut the chatter.
Cut the chatter, Red 2. Accelerate to attack speed. I mean, and so right there, if like when you look at the basically how they shot that, and they talk about, then Gold Leader comes in and he says, Gold Leader to Red Leader, we're starting our attack run, and he's like, copy that, Gold Leader. It's just such an epic scene. They're so serious. The pilots look nervous, which is epic. And so when they do that whole like dive down, they've locked their S-foils in attack position and they're swinging in there. He's like, we're gonna cut across you and try to draw their fire.
Absolutely.
And then dun 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 dun. It's just so epic.
It's an epic moment.
Yeah, so cool. All right. So finally, You're welcome.
You got
here.
the phone number. Oh, it's a 507. Oh, wait, just kidding. I was close.
You're close. It's 614.
It is.
So please, since we did all this work to pull this up here, give us a call. We'd love just to hear from you. You don't care who you are. Doesn't matter. Leave us a question, a thought, a theory, a comment.
A Star Wars story.
A pondering. Yeah, your Star Wars story.
That's right.
You know, when did you get into it? Now, we only have 3 minutes on the voicemail, but if you want to do like just a little over 3 minutes, we kind of cap these at 5.
Yeah.
We'll start to fade you out at 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Okay.
I have to play the Oscars music.
Wrap it up. Yep. But if you want to talk about your story real quick and how you get into it and maybe share like a funny Star Wars memory, we're thinking about making that a segment on the podcast. So hit us up at 614-547-2570. So it's 2570.
Will you get a free tarot reading or...
You might. Mike might do that live on the show.
Do it live. Have a reading, a little seance. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen.
All right, guys. I think that's it for this week. Again, we'll keep you guys posted on Twitter as to what's happening, some updates on the show.
That's right.
T-shirts, want to mention real quickly, too. We have T-shirts coming in. So if you are signed up on our Patreon page, we've got some T-shirts coming. Mike and I are going to Solo in Ohio.
That's right.
Which is Rebel Force Radio up in Cleveland. We're coming for you guys. So we're
coming to hug you.
We're coming to hug you.
That's what we're doing.
We love those guys, so we're going to wear our shirts up there and, you know, just wave like a bunch of, you know, Uber fans that we are of their podcast.
That's right.
And but we wanted to share those with you guys too, and we're setting up a storefront with some funny stuff. Mike has the most ridiculous T-shirt ideas I've ever
Best T-shirt
heard of.
ideas. Yep.
And so we're going to get some of those out there and get those flowing.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
All right, stay tuned for that. This has been fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
Finish the book. We got to finish the book.
Finish the book.
Plow
next
through
week.
Part 2.
So,
all right, guys. Thanks so much. Remember, as always, may the Force be with you. All right. Let's actually start the episode.
No, you please open it up like that.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to hold the Ugnaught to feel secure.
I do. Isn't it
that's
weird?
How you went to bed at night when you were young.
Like, this is therapeutic. Like, holding the Jawa is like a big, you know.
Yep.
How do you say his name? Florks? Florks?
That's him.
How do you say it? Florks?
One more time.
No, seriously. How do you say
it? Florks? I don't know how else to say it.
I don't know how to say it. Florks. Okay.
That's the only way I could think to pronounce it.
Florks.
One more time. How do you say it?
Florks.
Hey,
Florks.
Yeah, you think
you can get Flork Speckles in here again?